Okay, so let's see if we can add a little bit of a variation to the single leg stance. Okay, so oftentimes I work with people that a single leg stance or balance exercise is very, very difficult. So we would either use a bit of assistance or kind of in a certain way we'll regress that exercise to make it a little bit easier, right? Remember, an exercise also very important to remember is we always want to kind of think in a way to regress or progress, right? I think it's very, very important for people, anything over 55 and onwards, to always keep in the back of, to keep it in the back of your head that if you can't perform a exercise, you can always make it easier, right? Don't be scared to make it easier. It doesn't mean that you're weaker or you're not good enough or feel intimidated because you can't do that exercise and make it a bit easier, right? There's always a way to make it easier, and then there's obviously always a way to make it more difficult. So don't be too scared to revert back and just make things a little bit easier. And if you feel very competent, you feel like you're getting better at a specific exercise, then please feel free to progress it, right? The progressions are also very, very important, right? Especially again, when you get older, you really want to make sure that you challenge the body in a safe and effective way. Okay, so we've covered the single leg balance exercise, right, where you're just nice and comfortable. If you feel that holding onto something is going to be useful, then please feel free to do so, okay? The progression of this exercise, I would encourage you to first start with holding onto something for a little bit of balance, right? Because there's going to be your other leg that you're not balancing on is going to start moving through space. That's going to challenge the stability on the leg that you're standing on, your stance leg. So rather start off holding onto something first, and then from there you can kind of progress to see if you can do it without it, okay? But maybe I'll only give you this progression for now, and then I'll give you another progression of this exercise that will just add more benefit to it, okay? So if you're going to find yourself to hold onto something, you can either do it this way or that way, whatever is going to be comfortable to you, okay? So if we had to make the stance leg the right leg, we're going to balance on that right leg, we're going to feel nice and stable, a weight distribution through that foot, knees nice and soft. You're going to hold on to something for me there. Make sure that you think about the level of the pelvis. We're standing up nice and tall. And then from there, all you're going to do, you can start with the back foot and the knuckle, the big knuckle behind the big toe on the back foot. You can start there. And then from there, you're going to lift that leg off for me. And you're going to lift it till about 90 degrees, right? And then again, you're going to just be a nice balance. If you feel you want to take the hands off, you can. Otherwise, keep the fingertips on whatever object you're holding onto. You're going to slowly take that leg back. Try not to change the position of this hip and that knee. And then you're just going to lift that leg up again. Give it a little bit of a pause at the top, right? Try and get the sensation through this leg that needs to happen. Get all those muscles around the hip and the leg to work. Slowly take it back. Get it to touch at the back. Lift it nice and high. You can even lift that foot so that it faces up to the ceiling at the same time. So we get a bit of shin muscle groups involved. And we slowly take the leg back. Then we lift it again nice and high. 90 degrees. Just still about there, right? I don't necessarily need you to try and lift it as high as you can. And these type of things happen, right? This is not what we're looking for. We just want to try and get that leg nice and high so you can still stay nice and tall. And then again, like I said, give yourself a bit of time under tension on that leg that you're standing on so those muscles can work nice and hard, and then slowly back again. Okay, so hopefully that's a really nice progression for you to try. Again, same as before, if it causes you any niggles or pain, please don't continue with the exercise. Make sure that you figure out why that's causing you pain. Play around with changing position, that kind of stuff. Make sure that you feel the right muscles. If you don't, let me know, and I can try and see if I can guide you in the right direction and see if we can get you to feel what you're supposed to feel, okay? Remember, again, like I said before, as I will always say, is quality is always more important than quantity, okay? When you're doing some rep ranges with exercises like this, play around with it. If you're only standing on one leg, start maybe with 10 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that. And then the more comfortable you feel, you can increase that, okay? With these reps, you could probably start with something like 3 to 5 to maybe 8. But again, I would prefer you doing a great quality 3 reps over a debatable 8 reps. Okay, it's always better to focus on the time under tension, focus on the quality of work that you're doing, and make sure that you understand what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so I hope all of that makes sense, and try it out. Let me know how you feel.